Okay.
Yep,
Perfect.
it says recording in progress.
Yeah, all right. So you
Thank
guys
you,
got
John.
to type to, got it.
Okay, we got the God. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. I did
Okay,
it.
like I was saying, everybody, I had the iPhone 15s are coming out in this announcement next month. The Pro models are going to have the newer bodies, the titanium body. It's supposed to be stronger and lighter because they are going to bump up some of the sizes a little bit. So these things get pretty heavy after they get to be a certain size. So they're going to try to mitigate the more mass with lighter metals to do that. So there's that. There's going to be about a 12% battery capacity increase, and they're going to be using this stacked battery technology, which I don't know much of, but that's kind of how they're going to get more in the same area. Some kind of stacked technology, which I can't speak on. I don't know what it is. The Pro models are going to feature the A17 chip with 3 nanometer technology. You're probably wondering, what does that mean? So currently the chips in the iPhones use, I think it's 5 nanometer or 4, well, whatever. But the smaller that number is, the closer the components are together inside the CPU. And that translates to higher efficiency, higher speed, and less heat being generated. So they're thinking that just the 5 to 3 nanometer change is going to give us about 35% more performance. So it's pretty big when you get down to those scales. That's going to be on the Pro models. The regular models are going to have the same chip that's in the iPhone 14 Pros. They'll share that same chip. And again, the 15 Pros will have the newest chip. And that's kind of the way they've been doing it. They stagger it that way. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, and they're going to say goodbye to the old Lightning port and hello to USB-C. So what this is just a USB-C standard that's used everywhere except at Apple. And they're finally doing this due to a lot of pressures. The European Union is kind of forcing them to go to it so people don't have to buy 2 chargers for their house or 2 kinds of cords and whatnot. So they are standardizing to that, and they've done that on their computers as well. The old Thunderbolt connectors on these computers are now USB-C. So it's a good thing to everybody be on the same page. The only caveat is that the best USB-C performance is only going to be available in what are called Apple MFI made for iPhone certified cables, which are going to be more expensive than the third-party cables you can buy at Walmart and stuff. So you got to get MFI certified cables to get the full, the full usage out of it. Okay, and in my last news item, this is something that I talked about a month or 2 ago, and one that Barbara put out an email. So Amazon is finally unveiling their foray into mobile service. So with your Prime membership, you can actually purchase a phone plan with them and get a discount using that. And I believe they're around $25 a month. I don't know if anyone has any comments on that or heard anything new, but that's what I know about that. So, and those are my news items for this class. So any questions or comments? All right.
How long do you think it'll be till Amazon does this?
I think they're rolling it out right now.
It's already out.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people already on that plan.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So you could bundle your phone plan with them, and maybe if you're paying $40 a month or whatever, you might be able to save $15 a month, which over a year is $180. So that's money in your pocket. Money earned is
That's
money
right.
saved is money earned. So, all right. So for the emerging technologies area, one of the features that iOS 17 is going to have is called screen distance. So what it's designed to do is to help you save your site, because there's a lot of people are holding the phones too close to their eyes, and that phone especially if it's brighter, will radiate a lot of light, and especially blue light, into your eyes. So what it does, it's supposed to keep you aware if your phone is too close to your face. And this is mainly for low vision, especially, and sighted people. So that's kind of a neat little feature they're bringing into iOS 17. So you can, be careful with your sight. And then the other thing is, I was reading this, the other topic in emerging technologies is the stores of the future that are coming down. Amazon's been kind of doing this. And what you do is you walk in and everything's automated. There's nobody manning the store. You can go in, you can get stuff, and then you walk out, and everything is done. And the way they do that is you would walk in and you would immediately be recognized, and you would have your payment on profile with the store. As you're picking things off the shelf, it puts them into what it calls like a virtual basket. You'll have the real items with you, but then it'll keep track of what you had. And when you walk out the door, your card will be charged. So that's kind of where it's going, but they've got a ways to go and a lot of things to get around. I just thought it was an interesting article, and I thought I'd mention it here in case anybody's interested in that. I don't remember what publication. I think it was Scientific American or one of those, but I was reading it, and I thought it was an interesting thing because I got a feeling that's where it's going to be, a few years down the road. So, any questions on that? All right, we're rushing through to make up for lost time. Okay. All right, so my first topic, I got to start with sound on my first topic. Let me find my sound source here. Now I'm going to play a sound for you guys, and then you can tell me what you think it is. Okay, and then I'll explain it in the topic. Okay, so let me open my phone up here.
Reminders, mail, 28 unread emails. App switcher, reminders.
They close
closing
it.
mail, closing mail, files, active,
Okay.
files, active, files, icon, cactus red,
Okay. All right, so I'm going to play this for you, and you tell me what it is. I'm going to play it right now.
play, button, list, button,
Bird.
Yes. So let me stop it. So it's not a duck. Can anybody know what kind of bird that is? Well,
Cactus wren.
Cactus wren?
oh my gosh. Did you guys guess that, or did you hear my voiceover say it?
We
Heard
heard
your voiceover say it.
Okay, well, there is cheaters. There is an app that will allow you to turn it on, and then it will recognize all the birds in your area that are making noise. Okay,
Oh, wow.
so I play the noise first, so just to grab your attention.
landscape,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the app up in my other phone, and then I'm going to play it on this phone, and then it should recognize it. So the app is called,
portrait,
oh, sorry. The app is called Merlin Bird ID. It used to be Merlin Sound ID, but they changed it recently.
I've seen
And,
that.
and it was either built by Cornell University or in conjunction with their ornithological department, the bird department, in the zoology area. And what it does, it recognizes, and then they document, like you can submit recordings that you have to them to add to their database to recognize birds. So let me open the app up in my iPhone here. Hang on a second.
screen notification, one notification, Apple ID
Uh,
alert, Apple ID
oh, come on.
verification, okay, 7:23 p.m.
All right, let me get the thing up here so you guys can hear it.
Podcasts,
Hey Siri, open Merlin Bird ID.
Merlin Bird ID, tab bar, live
Okay.
list, tab,
So once you get the app's free. You download it from the App Store. You install it. I think you give them your email address and you're registered with them, and then you get the app and you can do a bunch of stuff. And let's do the sound ID first, and then I can explain what the app does. And I'll try to go a little quicker since we lost a little time earlier. So what I'm going to do is on the screen, you're going to be on the default tab on the bottom, which is
Tab bar. Selected. Identify.
identify.
One.
And about midway down the screen, there's going to be something called Sound ID, I believe. Let me just go down there.
Home ID button. Sound ID.
Sound ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up first, and then I'm going to grab my other phone.
7:24 p.
I don't have a real bird, so I have to act like I have a bird in the other hand. So let me do that. Hang on. Oops.
Try again.
All right. So I'm going to do Sound ID.
Home ID button. Step by step ID. Sound ID.
And then I'm going to do this.
Try again. Play. Button. Pause.
Okay.
7:25.
I'm going to stop it. It should have the things that it recognized. So we're going to go there.
Verdant. Ash-throated flycatcher. Cactus wren. Heading.
So cactus wren, it's right there. It found it. And then once it brings that up, I think you can do a few other things here. Let me see.
Start new recording. Explore nearby birds. Start cactus wren. Head.
So, excuse me, if you had a bunch of birds, let's say you're out on your patio and there were a bunch of birds singing their songs, it would list them in a big list. You could have like maybe 10 of them or 5 or just one. This one says cactus wren, and then I believe there's you can tap on it and get more information about the bird and this and that. So when you set up the app, you get the way it recognizes it, it takes the song and then it compares it to songs that they have in their database. So you got to download the database for our area, which is Arizona and New Mexico, kind of the Southwest. And it'll have all the birds indigenous to this area in there, and then it can recognize them all. So it probably wouldn't recognize maybe a macaw from the tropics or wherever. It would recognize only birds from this area. So it's a great little app, and I think if you're into bird watching or understanding what birds are around you, it's a great thing for us to have to determine that. So any questions on that app? All right. I'm going to move forward then. Let's see. One thing that the next topic, what Barbara wanted me to show you guys was this app called Clubhouse. Has anybody ever heard of Clubhouse? It's a social media app. All right, so let me show it to you then.
Calendar. Tuesday. Apps. Merlin.
All right. Hey Siri. Open Clubhouse.
Search. Button.
So Clubhouse is just a social media app where people get together and they share, just like in any other thing. And you can have your own groups. I think they call them rooms here. You can look for rooms. You can look for speakers that are out there. And they use their kind of vernacular like in a house. They use a house and they have rooms and hallways, which translates to common terms like a chatting or joining a group, but they use that vernacular here. So I joined one earlier. Let me see if I can find it here.
Blind iPhone. 0 rooms. White text on a black background. The essential point is to strive to be empty and to let all things go. Let the light flow through us and guide our way. Then
All
we
right,
can-
so what happens in this room, it's a room dedicated to iPhone and Mac users and all of the accessibility things. And they get together and they share ideas and tips and tricks, kind of what this is, but on a grand scale. And they have about 1,000 users in this group. And you want to join a group that's got a little more users than just a few, because that means you're going to get a much better experience. And you can search for rooms by going down to the bottom of the application. Most of these apps will have a tab bar at the bottom. So down here on the bottom, we have, let's see,
Hallway button.
hallway, that's like a chat thing.
Search button.
So search, that's where I look for things, and I look for blind iPhone or something like that, and a bunch of them come up. Let's see if we can find
Search
something.
button. Explore heading. Search clubhouse. Search field.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna type I'm gonna dictate something in
Search
there.
clubhouse. Insertion points.
Let's see, I don't know.
Cooking.
Cooking for the blind.
Inserted search. Search. Cooking for the blind makers. 104 members.
So there's blind makers. I'm sure that means that they make things.
Photo of blind make. Join. Recipes room.
Recipes
56
room.
members.
So there's a lot of rooms listed.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just more of the same. And when you get into this program, and you can find almost exact things that you need, because there are a lot of people in this clubhouse. I didn't know that
Mhm.
when I was exploring it. So I highly recommend that if you want to get in with the group, like recipes is a good one if you like to do recipes. And you get the recipes, but maybe you get some commentary on a smarter way to like boil water. Instead of boiling it in a saucepan, maybe you use one of those kettles that has a whistle on it, and you can tell you how to measure it and put it in there, and things like that, just so you don't spill water on yourself or on your floor. They do that kind of stuff. And yeah, and just that, it's basically just a very simple program, and it'd be good as a resource for you guys, So any questions on that? All right. It's gonna go quickly tonight. Let me see here.
So I have a comment. So you could find, I joined it, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and it seemed like you could be on it for 24 hours. You just go from room to room to room to room to room. It's like,
I haven't done that, so that's.
it was
that's
just a
good to know.
little, it was, well, I think I'll try it again, but I think it was just a little too much for me at the point. But
Wow.
maybe now that I'm not working, maybe I'll enjoy that. But there is
Yeah,
a lot of information, and it's mainly, it's not like Facebook. It's blind people.
Yeah,
And it's all audio. So that's the
Yeah.
nice part of it.
Screen
yes, that's
Yeah.
right, Barbara. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a wonderful idea, Barbara. Thanks for turning me on to that
Hand
idea.
washing.
Give me a chance to
Empty
show it to the
paper.
room here. All right. So if there's no more comments on Clubhouse, and when I publish these notes, I'll put a little more detail in the notes that in case I miss anything here, because I have kind of some clip notes that I wrote down, which I'm kind of going over very quickly instead of normal. But I'll make sure I include everything that I have on these subjects that I may have missed in these talks. So the next one is a show and tell piece. And you know how it gets here in the summer in Tucson when we get storms and our electricity goes out? I don't know if anybody's experienced that at all. But
I have.
yeah, and most of us do actually. I think a few weeks ago, I think like 50,000 people here in Tucson lost power in one shot for that storm. So remember last week when I was talking about the weather radio and having that in case of emergency? Well, I found another piece of equipment that might be good too. So just imagine your power goes out and it's muggy and hot, or it's still kind of hot. You need to have maybe a fan that at least can cool you down while your power's out, because nothing works without power. No air conditioning, no fans, no nothing. So I found this little number, and I'll put it in front of me here. Let's see if you guys can see it. I don't know what's the front or back. Hang on a second. Not too small.
The handle's in the back.
Yeah, this is it here. I'll put it in front of me. So it's got a light here. I'll try to push the button to see if the light comes on. I don't know if you can see that light. And there's 3 levels of light. And then off. And then this has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery in it. So what that means in English is it's got about 3 iPhone batteries sitting in there. So it lasts a long time. I think I ran it one night for about 8 hours. So you're not going to turn it on and 30 minutes later, it's done. It's going to stay on for a long time. And it's got an oscillating fan in the middle of it. And it's real simple to
Screen
use. You got a button for the light on the upper right side here that I just demonstrated with the light where my finger is for using who can see. And then the switch is right there. And then on the other side of it is the actual fan stuff. So I'm going to press and hold, and this thing should come on. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And you turn
It's
the
real
knob,
quiet too.
turn the knob to adjust it. Going down, down, down. And then you just tap this same control once to have it oscillate. So it'll move the fan from left to right, so it does a wider area. And like I said, what I really is really cool about this fan is that it lasts a long time on a charge. It's very small, very lightweight, but it does have some weight because there's a massive battery in there. So it's got probably about a pound, but it's very efficient, and it does keep you cool. So it's another piece of equipment you could have just in case you lose power and it's hot. You can cool yourself down with this. And you charge it with the cable that's hooked to the side here. It's a normal USB-C cable on this side, the little part. And then the big part is a standard USB-A cable, those regular ones that you've always seen for many, many years. So, and I think it runs, if I'm not mistaken, around $30, if I'm not mistaken, or less.
29, yeah. It's on sale right now.
$29, yeah, from Amazon. And I'll put a link in the notes in case anybody's interested in buying it. So I was really impressed with it. I think Patty got one, and I got one, and I think some other people got turned on to this.
My neighbors, I showed it, I linked to my neighbors and they all got it because we were all with no power.
Yeah. Oh, and then one last thing, it's got a kickstand on the back, so you can angle it. So I don't know if people can see it, there's a kickstand in the back that allows you to angle it, at different angles. So if you're up above it, it'll get you there instead of just being straight on the table. So this is really good, a good piece of equipment to have just in case.
And you could also hang it.
I can hang it. There's a thing where you can hang it. That's right. Thank you, Patty. and then that's how that works. So any questions?
Hey, Manny, it's Grayson. I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's going on?
If you run that on high speed, you're saying that you get 8 hours of battery life, but if you decide to run that on high speed for that 8 hours, will it drain the battery faster, and will that 8 hours actually be more or less, say, 6 or 5?
Good. That's a good observation. Yeah, the more you ask it to do, meaning the more energy it needs, yes, the battery will drain faster. But I had it at least 3/4, if not all the way, and I had it bringing air into my house on a window, and it worked brilliantly, and it was still on in the morning when I turned it on at night. So,
Okay.
So yeah, and the battery takes a while to charge because it's a big battery. You got to remember, if it takes your iPhone like an hour and a half to charge, well, this one might take a little longer because it's a higher capacity battery. And that's why it lasts so long, because the motor and the fan and the battery are very well tuned to each other, very high efficiency motor. So it's not a wasteful motor. So most of the energy that goes through it actually turns into motion instead of heat. A lot of inefficiency in these motors comes out through heat or wasted in other ways instead of turning the blades or the fan. So,
And it's actually it's for camping. That's how we found it. But it's
That's right.
you could put it on your desk, just to cool yourself down. And obviously it's for camping, so you could take it with you.
That's right. And oh, go ahead. Sorry, Grayson. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, and I'm on a theme because during the summers we get a lot of electrical storms, and when you have nothing, and even your phone could be going out, that's pretty scary because sometimes they don't get to the power for hours, maybe even a day. And as a so it becomes critical. And with that weather radio from last month that had the power bank in it to charge your phone, and you can listen to the National Weather Service on the one channel. And then this thing, you're not going to be doing without. You're going to be okay. It won't get too hot. Or, it'll be warm, but it won't be where you don't have anything to keep you cool at all. This thing will keep you cool. It's got a lot of force, and it's not a little dinky thing that doesn't blow any air. It blows a good amount of air. It's pretty good. So that's
Is
why.
that so? Is that radio information in your last?
You know what? Since I'm recording this, I will put an addendum on this one, and I'll make sure I have a link to the weather radio and I have a link to this. So there'll be no doubt.
Okay.
Because I
Thank
think I
you.
forgot to do that last month, and I'm so sorry about that. So,
Yeah, the radio is wonderful also. Of course, I got it because we had the power went off and we were without anything. And we our phones between me and Manny, I think his brand new phone was very low. Remember, Manny? And
yes, I didn't charge it
and
tonight.
mine
Yeah.
mine I had a tiny little battery pack that Manny had given me a while back, and for some reason I had charged that.
Oh,
Because we both have very, very big chargers, but for
Mm.
some reason I couldn't find mine and he couldn't find his. And then so we found that one, and we were able to get a little bit of juice. But now with the radio, obviously we could charge our phone with that too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Manny, do you know what model that radio was?
I will get it for you. I will definitely put it. I don't remember the model offhand.
yeah,
I don't
me
have it
either.
with me. But it's a good radio. It's solid and it's good. But I will get that to you.
Midland makes a good radio, and do you know if this one has the same codes, or is it just the one single tone thing? Weather
I
alert.
think it's the single simpler one. I don't know for sure. I
Okay,
wish I
without the
could
same
be.
codes, yeah, I mean, the same
Yeah.
codes is
Yeah.
nice, and it's a little more restrictive, but I was having a big conversation with a friend of mine back in Pennsylvania who just got a same weather radio.
Oh, I see.
No.
Not really accessible, I mean, but it wasn't that hard to have a sighted person set it up, but, you know.
Yeah,
I
that's
Yeah,
a
no,
good
this
one.
is very accessible. It's not, I mean, it's not a major
Yeah, but you're not
big
putting in
radio.
codes, you're just setting it. If you
That's
set it
right.
for alarm and they put the 1050 hertz tone out there, off it goes. And that's fine. We had that for years and years and years and years.
Mhm.
Before
Right.
they got more specific,
You're right, right.
more targeted alerts and more specific types of alerts. But I mean,
This one, John, is very simple. It's just got the old style rotary tuning thing, and
oh, wow, okay, okay.
So, and I think if I'm not
I
mistaken-
sort of, back in the day, I collected weather radios. I don't need another one, but I am intrigued about what's out there.
So I think on this one, after you get it or you look at it, you'll tune it all the way to the beginning of the band, and it doesn't let you go past. And then you just move it a little to the right, and then it tunes it right in. I think that's the National Weather Service. And the
Mhm.
rest of the band is blank for the weather band only. Then you have AM and FM as well, so you can get news or whatever's going on as well if you need that. So
And you
I-
know, the battery, also the charge takes a long time. I love listening to the weather. I don't know why, but I've had the radio on for hours on the first charge. I haven't charged it yet.
yeah, and it's got a big power bank in there. And with that radio, John and Patty and everybody, you know, you have the little AAA batteries in there.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have the power
Mhm.
bank. You have a solar cell that trickle charges, and then you have a hand crank that
A
you can
crank,
charge
yeah.
the
oh,
little
that's
A
incredible,
batteries.
yeah, so you're covered every which way, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I think with that and a fan, you're probably okay until the power comes back on. So I wanted to add that fan. in.
I've got a C crane radio, AM,
Oh.
FM, and it's battery or electric, so I could put batteries in it, and
Oh, okay, okay.
so I do have some. Yeah, and the crank radio that I have, A, I don't know where it is, and B, I don't think it has weather.
Mm.
This might be time for another crank radio.
Well, this little number is on sale right now for $26. So
It's on sale, please get that link out.
I will, and I'm sorry I didn't have it last month. I
No
really
problem.
apologize.
If it's on sale, I want it.
I
Yeah.
know.
Me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, great, guys. I'm glad you guys like that. Well, I think with those two items, doesn't matter if the power goes out. Get a little popcorn pre-made, just have popcorn while the power's
No.
on.
And it's
and
better
what
if you
we-
have a swimming pool.
Swimming pool,
No.
there you go.
But you know what we did? I brought in all my solar lights from
Mm.
outside, and we were able to have lights in the house.
Good. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, they've come a long ways with solar lights and the technology. They last a long time. So yeah, these are great things because we're here in Arizona and we got a lot of sunshine. So we can put solar cells
Yeah.
everywhere and just be fully charged. And so
Mm.
they also sell, by the way, this is not part of what I had planned, but they do sell just the power banks you can use to have a battery power for any devices, the USB devices. And they have unfolding solar cells that you unfold, like they're folded and you unfold, and that can be charged just with the sun's energy without even hooking to the house. But it takes a while because solar cells are typically less than 20% efficient. But when you got a bunch of them, then it sort of mitigates, the single one taking a trickle charge forever. So there's more in numbers, I guess. So I can put that in there too if you guys like. If you want to see the one with all the solar cells that you can unfold and just charge it in the sun, that's another one. So
Sure.
okay, any more questions on that? Good stuff. All right then. So one thing I wanted to talk about in this class is, let me make sure I'm on the right side. Oh yeah. So shopping for internet service. And I brought this up because I had an experience this month and I wanted to pass this on to you because you can save money if you take this advice or if you don't, just as long as you know what to do. So your internet service for your home or for your phone is really nowadays sort of like your electricity, your water, things like that for your home. But opposed to those utilities, this is more of like a high margin commodity for these providers. So like Cox Communication, Comcast, Xfinity, CenturyLink, and then the other guys that supply it for your phones through your cellular phone stuff like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. It's something that you should look at least once a year so you can renegotiate to get a better deal and better service. And here's what happened to me when I did this. So it can have a very dramatic effect. So I was paying for my home internet, I was paying $50 a month, okay? So that's $600 a year for having the internet at my home, my local Wi-Fi and everything. And then for my phone, I was paying about $45 with taxes and everything. So, that was 90, 94, 95 bucks, okay? Now I'm paying 45 for everything. So that means now I'm saving almost $50 a month, $600 a year, and I'm getting much more now. So what I did, I was with CenturyLink and AT&T, and I was paying those prices that I just told you about. So the first thing I did is I looked at what was out there, Cox Communications, I was looking at Comcast, and unfortunately, I can only get Comcast to my house. These things are very territorial. You get one or the other, they don't mix. So I talked to them and they got me into a $40 a month plan. But then they told me if you change your mobile provider, AT&T, over to us and bundle, we can give you a $15 a month plan for your phone. And we can take $10 off of your broadband plan. So now I'm at $45 a month, and that's what I'm paying right now versus 90 something last month. And the reason they can do this is that whole thing I was just talking about being a high margin product commodity that they sell you. Okay, they have a lot of room to increase and decrease prices. And even with Cox Communications, if you with them, you can get into a $49 a month plan. And you can bundle with your phone plan, cellular phone plan, and you can get a $15 a month plan with them if you want to. So then you're paying a lot less for your phone and your home internet than probably what you're paying now.
Can you transfer your number? And what kind of phone do you need?
Yes. So they're just like a regular phone company, just like anybody else. You transfer your number right over to them. So it might be something that you should look at. Now, if anybody needs help doing that, I've got experience. I did mine and I've checked out the other areas of town. And you have to make your choice because there are a lot of options out there. But the main two are internet coming through the cable, the coax cable to your house, the round black cable. And then you got DSL, digital subscriber line, coming through CenturyLink, which is the twisted pair for your phone. Those are basically the two. And typically the cable guys are a lot faster. It all just
How
depends.
about 20 times faster?
Oh yeah, so besides saving the money, so I was at 94, 95 bucks, now I'm at 45. So I was getting 10 megs coming down on my CenturyLink guy. And it's because I'm far away from the phone exchange. So I start losing bandwidth over distance. So now with Xfinity, I went from 10 to 200. And that's
Ooh.
what I'm using right now to do this meeting. And then of course they also, that's the download speed, okay? There's also an upload speed because you do communications back and forth. So my CenturyLink speed was 750K, which is horrible. But now it's like 12 megs. And I got it for 30 bucks a month versus 49 or 50 with CenturyLink. So these kind of things are important to keep track of. Maybe once a year, just see your options. Maybe you stay right where you're at, but at least know where you can save and where it makes sense. And I think it might save a lot of people a lot of money to comparison shop, because these guys want your money bad. And it's almost like the old gas wars, almost like that, where you could go down the street and the competitor for some other gas station is charging less. So it's a good time to be a consumer in that space. That's what I'm saying.
Manny, you didn't mention how fast the bar downloads go.
Oh yeah. So for example, well, I'll let Patty. Hey Patty. So
Yeah,
when
I
you
was
down-
thinking it scared me completely. I put mine on and we had the same plan. So it just goes and it tells you, 55, 45, whatever is doing all the numbers. This one didn't even count. It just went ding right away. My bell rang right away. I went from downloading the book to the home show, to the home to the audio, to see where the book was, and it was already downloaded.
Mm.
I was like,
It was-
what the heck?
I think it was a matter of maybe 2 to 3 seconds for an entire book to come down. Now this is 200 megs and we're used to 10. So it's 20 times the throughput, the bandwidth. So and that is a big, big difference for less. And that's why I'm saying this over and over. It's very important because if you're going to spend money on this, you might as well get the most bang for your buck. Don't give them money when they're not going to give you anything back for stuff you don't use. It's there, and if you use it, great. If you don't, just as good for them. So you might as well get the best what you need for yourself and save money. And that's a simple thing, but you have to feel what your situation is, because if you're not a gamer or a streamer, maybe you don't need like the big data plans for your phone. Maybe you just have 1 gig on your phone. You get home and do all your business there, your YouTube and everything else, your Netflix, and that will save you a lot of money.
And that's the difference between what you have now and what you had before, right?
Right. So before on my phone plan, I had 6 gigs of data, which I never used. When I left AT&T earlier this month, I had like 27 gigs of data on the table. I just let it go. And I went to a 1 gig plan. And what's good about the iPhone is it's got a switch in there that says turn off cellular data. And what that does is when you're not hooked to your Wi-Fi, it limits, or it actually cancels out any cellular data activity. So you don't go beyond or you tightly control what's happening. And there's a secondary control where if you do turn on cellular data to your carrier through your phone, you can say, I just want to use the low data mode, meaning I don't want to stream movies and audio, just what I need. Like if I'm taking an Uber ride and I need location services, that's data, go ahead and do that. And it draws very little data, but you need that data to get a ride. so it knows where you're at and it knows, all this stuff. So the iPhone is perfect for this kind of plan, very low cellular data plan and almost unlimited home bandwidth. So you really get the best of both worlds, and you end up walking away with hundreds of dollars potentially a year in savings.
You know what towers it's using when you're in other cities, though? I was wondering, because I have AT&T, and I want to talk to you about this because we have 2 lines here, but for the phone alone, we're at like $120, and we can live with that. But
And I did check with Xfinity Comcast, which are the people that serve me, and I asked them, so whose towers are you using? And they said Verizon. So they're using the Verizon towers, and I'm sure Comcast is probably using one of the other ones, or maybe Verizon's as well. I don't know. I'd have to ask Comcast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, but I care about universality, not just, oh, it works great in Tucson, but leave Tucson and you're screwed,
Right. And I think, I may be wrong, John, that's a good point. That even though it's in Tucson, it's using national towers. Any Verizon tower.
Well, there's no Tucson specific towers, but I thought there may be Xfinity Tucson specific. It's weird in Tucson. I mean, I'm happy, but usually it's like the county locks up one provider. It's either Cox or or Comcast or another one. Pick one. I've never seen where a city or a county. I think maybe the whole county would be the same way. Depending on where you are, you get one or the other. And maybe there was one, because this is a question I asked when we were doing real estate hunting 9 years ago. Oh, it was 8 years. We were here. And there was 1 or 2 places where they said, well, you can get either. Well, maybe that was in Phoenix. I don't know, but it got confusing. One place that they said you can get either one you want, and there were some places where it was one or the other. It wouldn't have been a deal.
That's not here in Tucson. And one other thing, John, on Cox, I'm on Cox. The internet is $50, and I can get a landline for $21.
Yeah, well, see, I've got a small business. I've got Soho because I wanted reliability and fast service when things went down, and so mine's quite a bit more expensive, and I'm sort of locked in, so I can't do anything until January. But in January, I'm going to squeeze them.
Well, I have Cox and T-Mobile,
Okay.
and I love both of them. So,
And if you're happy, then no reason to change. It's just, if you think about, you want to, saving more money, and you could do that if you want to, or not, just so you know your options. Better to be informed,
yeah.
Because like in John's situation, you sound like you're pretty happy, John, in Universal, but you never know. Maybe one day you'll say, I'm going to do
I'm
something.
happy with if I can get it for cheaper. I mean, but see, I don't know if I want. See, I wanted a static IP, and I guess I could go DNS to go or something like that. But there's certain amateur radio and one other application, which I'm not sure I use very much anymore, which really pretty much required a steady outside stable DNS.
Correct.
I mean, I'm 98, 172, 85, 94, and that's what it's got to be, not, like dartboard, whenever you get a lease, how the leasing works day to day.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Well, there's that. Any other concerns, issues, questions about that? Everybody okay?
What are you going to do with that extra money?
I'm going to buy you the most expensive thing, Patty.
You're going to go on vacation?
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was another wordy kind of thing. I've had a horrible month as far as computers are concerned. About 2 weeks ago, my brand new iPhone screen stopped working. I could see stuff on there, but I couldn't tap on it. That just would not accept any taps. Finally, at the end of the day, I took it to Apple. They replaced my screen for free, obviously. Well, not including my time and the trip out there and back and everything. And then this last Sunday, my laptop went down, which is why I was late today. And I apologize for that too. I'm normally never late for these things, and I feel horrible. So my laptop stopped working on Sunday. Then all of a sudden I turn it on this morning and it's working. So it's 8 years old, and I have to do something with that. But that's not what I'm really talking about here. So the topic is what to do when your iPhone or computer breaks, okay? So the first thing that you want to have in place is redundancy. And I'm not saying 2 iPhones, but you need a way to where if your iPhone shuts down right now, that you can still somehow call somebody with a different device, maybe one of those A-Lady devices, or you can text somebody or email somebody while your iPhone is getting fixed. And that's important to be able to get out to the world, because having all your eggs in one basket is not a good idea, especially if that basket breaks. So that's what happened to me on my phone. I had my backup phone. I got a hold of Patty, and then we went up to Apple, and then we got it done. My computer, I had an alternative monitor setup with what you're seeing now with the camera and everything, and I slapped in a computer that I configured for Patty, and I have it over here. I have her computer running this my part of this meeting. So redundancy is important, and like I said, you don't need to buy $2,000 iPhones to be okay. What you need to do is make sure your backup system allows you to do what you can do with your iPhone mostly. And then while you get your iPhone fixed, you won't be, out of luck. So like for computers, you could have an A-Lady device. I suggest an A-Lady device, or if you're really into the iPhone stuff, maybe getting an iPad or something. It doesn't have to be a brand new one. It just be one that works, one that's sort of a lifeboat thing. And you can get them all over the place for that purpose, for nothing anymore. So I suggest that. And when you take Apple products in, don't take them to Best Buy. They have the Geek Squad there, yes, and they do work. But your best option by far is the Apple Store. And I know it's way far away, but they will do it right. And you will leave there with a fixed phone or a new one. It won't be a halfway kind of thing. Because they're very limited in these Apple stores inside of these kiosks kind of things inside Best Buy and even the Geek Squad. They're limited on what they can do. Where at the Apple Store, if you're under warranty and they can't fix it, they'll just grab a new phone off the shelf and give it to you. They'll just, if it's in
I
warranty.
hardly echo what he's saying, even though it's a pain in the ass to get the 2905 Skyline out there in
Yes.
the northwest tawny part of town,
That's right. And
takes a half hour from the east side.
it does. And Uber, it runs about $30 or some crazy thing.
Really? Well, I call it a cop out, but I got a sighted spouse who uses it. Well, actually, one time she was jammed up and it was pretty time intensive. So I threw a good friend of mine about the same amount of money. I threw her about 20, 25 bucks.
Yeah.
She let my butt back. Well, actually, when it was, and that was
and
for
what-
back and forth too. Plus, I think I fed her. But we have good friends and some of them are welcome the opportunity to earn a little extra money.
That's right. Yeah. And I don't know if anybody's ever been to the Apple Store. It's kind of crazy place. It's noisy.
Oh, it is.
It's fast paced. And you don't want to go there unless you have to. But if your iPhone is broken and you're on a lifeboat, then $30 or whatever is not a lot to pay to get you back in business, and then you're not doing without while things are happening.
But I think what we did, or what you did, Manny, is make an appointment because it was so busy there. So we were safe because we had an appointment.
Yeah, so that's good, Patty. Yes, because they're so busy and it's the only place in town really. You have to call them with your lifeboat phone and then make that appointment. Now on your lifeboat phone, if you're with, let's say, AT&T or Verizon or whoever, and that phone goes south, well, you can put one of these voice over IP apps that allows you to call with that number, and then you can call Apple that way just with internet. So your home internet will still be up, but your iPhone's down. You could use your iPad or maybe even the A-Lady device to make a phone call, over the internet, not through a carrier. And then you still have the ability to make phone calls. And that's what I'm talking about with redundancy. So you're not left, blowing in the wind. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. And it goes alongside with the battery stuff I was talking about with the radio and the fan and things. You just want to make sure that you're not caught, without, because, you lose your iPhone or you lose something, and you got that much depending on it, you're paying bills with it or you're taking rides in it and stuff, and all of a sudden you can't do that anymore easily. It becomes a real anxiety point for people. It did for me, but I knew I had a backup, so I wasn't sweating it too bad, but I was still sweating it. So yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with that. Any questions about that or comments? All right. Okay, I got a new app that Barbara turned me on to, and it's called Just Press Record. That's what it's called. And it's another voice memos app. But what's really cool about it is that it doesn't let voiceover get into your recording. You go to the button and you press it, and it silences voiceover so you can do your recording. You say, well, that's no big deal, so what? But then what it does, it then creates a transcript, a searchable transcript. So let's say you do a bunch of these voice memos, and let's say I'm going to pick on John. Let's say I say like John McCann in one of my voice memos, and I got 20 there. Well, I can go to the search bar and say, look for John McCann, and it'll check all of the transcripts of my voice memos, and it'll bring him up right there. Oh, you said it in this voice memo. So kind of a cool app, actually. It's not free. It costs $5. Not a big amount to pay. And it works really well. So
Manny, is that $5 total or $5 a month?
I remember it being $5 total one time. That's one time cost. Yeah, I probably wouldn't show it if it was $5 a month. I think it's too much for a voice memos app. So let me find it. Let me find my phone here.
8:06 p.m.
I've been talking so much that my phone has been really quiet over here. Let me see here. All right, so let's see here.
Clubhouse. Calendar. Tuesday, August 15th. Home.
Give me a second here to close these apps.
Closing overeat.
Okay, so I'm going to tell it to open it. So, hey Siri. Hey Siri. Open, just press record.
Welcome to record button.
So I did one earlier, and here's a transcript, I guess. Let me see if I can.
File 11 52 55.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
iPhone microphone. Record. File 11.
All right, let me just do a new one. So it's a very simple interface. It's got the recordings up here. It's got the record button at the bottom. The tabs are, let me just see here.
Tab bar. Selected. Recents.
So
tab.
Recents tab has the list of recent recordings.
Browse. Tab. 2 of 5.
Browse is just so you can browse the recordings. I think that's where the search function is, if I'm not mistaken.
Watch. Tab. 5 of
And
5.
then watch, I haven't tried this part out yet. That actually allows you to record from your watch, your Apple Watch. So you don't have to pick up the phone. You can just go to the watch, speak into it, and it does the recordings just like if you did on the phone. So I'm going to do a new recording, and I'll just do some dumb thing. Let's see.
Record button.
So I'm on the record button. I'm going to double tap it. Tiptoe through the tulips, comma, by the tulips, period. That is what Tiny Tim says to me, period. So now I just put it in. So if I go to it, let me see.
File 200805.
Let me open. I think I have to double tap on it.
File play button.
So it expands it, and I can go.
Tiptoe through the tulips. Position 0. By the tulips. What Tiny Tim says to
Oh, and me.
me.
It doesn't read it like very well. It reads it line by line, so I have to touch each line. But if I wanted to look for Tiny Tim, I got two recordings here. So let's go back to my recents.
Selected. Recents. Tab. 1 of 5.
See, done.
Done. Button. File.
So I got
20.
I got two recordings. So I want to look for Tiny in it, or Tim or whatever. So I'm going to go in there,
Tab bar. Browse.
browse,
Tab. 2 of 5.
and I think, where is it? The search there? Where is it?
iCloud Drive. Folder. 2023. 08. Tab bar. Search.
No, it's search. I'm
Tab.
sorry,
4
search.
of
All right, so I'm going to go look for Tiny.
title or transcription.
Title,
Search field.
title or transcription.
Double tap. Search field. Search field.
Tiny. And
Inserted tiny.
it immediately brought it up. If I go down here,
File. 20. 08. 05.
okay, and I open that up,
File. Play.
it's got the Tiny Tim in it.
Tiptoe through the tulips. By the tulips. What Tiny Tim says to me.
So, and that's the one it brought up. So if you got a bunch of them, you can sort them that way and get them that way. So it's a really cool little app if you're interested in something like that. So, any questions about this? Just press record. All right.
Does it have a resume button like our Easy Voice Recorder?
You know, that's one thing that I did not see. I did not see that. So that's probably a suggestion I'd make to them if they're going to do future improvements. Let me see here. Let's just make sure.
Record. But settings. Button. iPhone microphone. Button. Toolbar. Audio editor. Button.
It does have an audio editor, which is crazy. I don't know how you would edit that waveform.
Read. Dim. Button. Share. Button.
Anyway, so let me see here. Just
Tiptoe through the tulips.
anyway, I need to look into that. I don't know for sure, Barbara. I would hope that it has a continue button so you can add more to a memo. That would make it fully featured in my book. That's why I like that other one that I
Easy Voice Recorder.
Easy Voice
Yeah.
Recorder, because I can
But
resume stuff.
you just gotta count to 10 before you talk. That's the only problem.
That's right, because unfortunately, VoiceOver does this feedback thing into the recording, and this one stifles that, so it kind of knows that that's how to treat it with VoiceOver on. So, all right, cool. Close that up.
Calendar. Tuesday. At just closing. Just press record. Calendar.
Okay, let me see
Tuesday,
what's next
August
here.
15th.
Next one is
Double
show
tap
and
to
tell, and this one is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. It's called thumbs up phone holder. I think that's what is that what it's called, Barbara? Thumbs up phone holder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show it to you guys. I don't have it in front of me. It's got two hands and it's connected with a band. And you put the phone between the hands. And what's good about it is that if you have it on a desk, it'll have it up where you can see it. But I think the really cool thing about this gadget is that when you're just sitting in a chair and you want to hold your iPhone, you got to spread your hand and you got to hold it and your hand gets tired. This thing alleviates all of that. And are you there, Patty? Are you still?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I ask you to tell me your experience with it?
Sorry, May, but we already talked about that one.
Oh, you did already? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I must have missed it at the very beginning.
We already got a report, and we already asked. We're gonna ask you to put it on the link.
Okay,
put
so
a link on there.
You're gonna give me that link that you use because I know you bought it. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, this is the wonderful little device that keeps you from your hand getting tired because it's got a grippable thing here, and it's easier to grip this than to try to hold your phone steady at things. And the fingers or the thumbs up hand here is really good at grabbing the phone and keeps it nice and solid. There's no way it's going to fall or anything. So really cool little thing. And it's like hard kind of rubber kind of thing. It's like, I don't know, hard plastic, hard rubber, but it's very flexible and it works really well. So that's my story.
I gave them the report that I was on Amazon for an hour and a half. So.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
So any questions on the thumbs up phone holder? But that was a quick one. I might be able to get through all my topics after all. Let me see here. Let's go down here. Okay, my next one is, okay, Barbara wanted me to review this with you guys. One of the hardest things to do are visual things on your iPhone. So for example, if you got a little bit of vision, or if you don't want to go to a bunch of home screens to find an icon or internet shortcut that you put on the screen, well, you can move these icons just with VoiceOver. So let's say you want to move something from your third or fourth screen all the way to your first screen. I'm going to show you how to do that. Has anybody ever done that before, by the way? Has anybody done with VoiceOver moving icons?
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it used to be a
8:14
horror
PM.
show initially, and I've done it, but sometimes it does the thing immediately before or after what it tells you it's gonna do. I go to edit, and then there's put before application X, put after application X, moved,
Mhm.
and moving from screen to screen, it's challenging. I'm able to do it, but if you're telling me it can be done simply by audio instructions, I'm all ears.
So what it does, John, and everybody, when you go into edit
Try
mode,
again.
I'm sorry, when you go into edit mode, like you said, you have an option to move the icon.
Right,
Once you double tap and hold it, and you start moving it towards the left part of the screen, it'll say approaching edge, and then it'll say screen 3 or 2, and then
Right.
you'll hear it. It'll tell you that it changed. And when you get to screen 1, it'll tell you what icon you have it next to. And when you find the icon that you want it next to, you just let it go, and then it puts it right there on the screen. So I'm going to demonstrate that if you guys like, and see what you
Please.
think. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Oh, please demonstrate. I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
I'm excited. I normally don't stay for these events, but today I'm like riveted. Plus, I decided not to do the,
Guess I'm-
plus, today I decided to not do the amateur radio.
8:16
Okay,
Try
okay.
again. Face ID.
All right, let me see if I can recognize my face. Here we go.
Calendar. Tuesday.
All right, so I'm on screen 1. My last icon on the screen, I'll just shortcut this. I think it's Amazon. Let me see.
Amazon.
And I got a few
Double tap
spaces.
to open.
I got a few spaces left, okay? So let's say that I want to go to the screen right next to it. I could go further, but I don't want to confuse it so much. So I'm going to move something from screen 2 to screen 1, okay? So I'm going to go over to screen 2, which is a 3-finger swipe to the left.
Page 2 of 4. FaceTime.
Page 2 of 4. So
Double tap to open.
I'm going to grab, let me just find one here.
Clue Maps.
Clue Maps. I'm going
Double tap to open.
to put Clue Maps on screen 1. It's currently on screen 2. So all you do, the next step is you find Clue Maps, and you put focus on it with VoiceOver, and it says Clue Maps. So I'm going to swipe up with one finger.
Edit mode.
So you go to edit mode.
Started editing.
Now if you could see it, they're kind of wiggling. I can't really see that, but I assume that's what they're doing. So you keep doing the swipe ups until you find the option to drag it or move it.
Activate. Default. Drag Clue Maps.
So right here, you do a double tap and hold, and you drag it to the left because screen 1 is to the left of screen 2. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to double tap and hold. Start moving.
Off OCO. Off Naviland. Off Navi. Off KGUN. Off KGUN 9. Move to page 1. Off Amazon. Off Amazon.
That's it.
Calendar. Is editing. Finished editing.
I don't know if you heard all of that. So I was dragging it from the right side to the left side of screen 2, and I went over a couple icons, and it said off of this, off of that, off of that, approaching screen 1, and then we change over to screen 1, and then I got it over to the Amazon app, and I just kept it held down during the whole time I was listening. And when it said over Amazon, then you can let it go, and it puts it right next to the Amazon app. And that's where it is right now. I have Amazon here. Let me see.
Amazon.
And if I swipe to the right,
Double tap to open.
if I swipe to the right, my Clue Map should be there.
Clue Maps.
And there it is. So that's how you
Double
do
tap
it.
to open.
So that's a way you can do visual organization without being visual. So it's kind of cool thing, actually, when you think about it. So
Manny, when you
Yeah.
were on page 4, one of the options was drag home. So
what's it
that
really-
was nice. You didn't
Yeah,
have
let-
to drag
yeah,
it
let
through
me-
all the screen.
Yeah, let me try that because I didn't explore it too much. I just do one at a time, or but let's see what that is. Maybe you're right.
But on page
Page
4,
2,
that's
4.
one of the options. Says
FaceTime,
drag.
page 3 of 4. Magnet, page 4 of 4. Calendar, Tuesday, August 15th. Fridge buddy.
Okay, there's Fridge Buddy. So I'm going to see if I can move that app, okay, to the home screen. So same thing as before. I get focus on it. It says it, Fridge Buddy, and then I'm going to go to edit mode.
Edit mode. Started editing.
And then I'm going to find the option that would do this. So I'm going to do this.
Activate. Default. Drag Fridge buddy. Delete. Stop editing apps. Activate.
So I don't know where that is, Barbara. I don't know. Where did you see that? Because I don't see it on here.
Well, just hit the activate, and see if it's there.
All right.
Stop editing app. Delete. Drag Fridge buddy. Activate. Default. Remove
No,
Fridge
it's not
buddy.
there.
Okay, so I got a dialogue. When I activate it, let's see what it says.
Delete app. Button. Remove from home screen. But cancel. Button.
So what it is, it's a way to delete the app
App,
or
okay.
just remove it. It didn't say move it, remove it is a different thing altogether. Of course, we're
Okay,
gonna cancel.
all right.
Cancel.
That's okay. That's why we're here. We want to make sure we understand. So,
Excuse
very
me,
good.
I have a question. What is that app? Your refrigerator app?
He's
Oh,
gonna
that's-
be demoing that.
I'm demoing that
Finish
tonight.
edited calendar.
It's like, what?
Activated.
Fridge Buddy. I don't know if that's next or not, but I let the cat out of the bag before.
I was
it's
like, is that
time.
where you keep your beer or something? I don't know.
That's right. yeah.
No, he's gonna be demoing. You're gonna like it, Patty. It's really neat.
Yeah. Okay, so if there's no questions on that, moving those icons, John, did that make any sense at all?
Yeah, what I usually do is as another way to do it, get on an app, do editing, and then migrate to the other screen where you want the app to be after.
Uh-huh.
And then, because you're still in editing mode, let's say you have app B and you want to move it.
Screen dimmed.
So then you can, once you are in editing mode, you can move anywhere. On screen 9, you may have app A,
Mhm.
and then you can flip up and down single finger and say, move app B, place app B after app A, and
Oh,
it'll do
okay.
it, as opposed to dragging it from screen, as opposed to what you did. I'm just
Oh.
throwing that out as an alternative way of doing it, which frankly, I find a little bit simpler.
You know what? I'm gonna look into that. Thank you. I didn't know you could do that. So,
Once you're in
Wow.
editing, well, maybe I won't do it. If you want me to, I'll just grab a phone here and just demonstrate it for a second, because I can always cancel out.
okay, yeah, I like to
Yeah.
hear that actually.
Right.
Yeah, I do that the same way he was talking about, the way John described it. I do
Yeah.
that exact same thing. Moving my
Low
app
battery,
from
10% low power mode.
So I'm showing you a harder method. I think that's pretty cool.
Spring,
Let's see.
Facebook, renew items. Dice World, radio.net,
Radio.net.
Dice World, radio.net. WhatsApp, item, button, station details, Arizona, vertical scroll bar, search station. Settings, button, settings. Logo. Window. Utilities folder, 13 apps. Now, wait. Facebook, radio.net, active. Facebook, radio.net, active. Radio.net, closing radio.net, Facebook, closing Swarm, active, Swarm, closing Swarm, window, health.
All right, let's see.
Utilities folder, page 2 of 10, radio.net.
Now I forget how you do the editing thing. Is it tap and hold?
What I do is I find the icon and I swipe up and then it says edit mode and I double tap.
Radio.net.
And double
Okay.
tap on
Oh
that.
crap.
Social send, updating complete. Ornament,
Updating.
start a new game.
Oh, no.
Dice,
It's
your
happening.
turn. Dice World,
I don't want that.
radio.net. Edit mode,
Okay, I'm gonna do edit.
Mhm.
started editing.
Started editing. Now let's see.
Page 3 of 11. Add widget. Button. Theme, dog. Messages. Mail. Phone. Page 3 of 11. Page 4 of 11. Page 5 of 11. Page 6 of 11. Day 1. Light detector. GarageBand. Slack. Is editing. Page 6 of 11. Slack. Is editing.
Let me go back one.
GarageBand. Page 6 of 11. Page 5 of 11. Chrome. Clips. Fitness. Farvision. Is fitness. Clips. Is editing.
Boy, hang on.
Dog. Mail. Is editing. phone, page 5 of 11.
I'm gonna
Adjustable.
sweep up.
Page 6 of 11, page 7 of 11, page 8 of 11, page 9 of 11, page 10 of 11. Entry, page 10 of 11, dog, page entry is editing. Character mode.
Angie is editing.
Actions available.
Now I'm gonna swipe up on it.
Drag entry. Delete. Stop editing apps. Activate. Default. Drag entry.
It's not working the way I wanted it. I don't know if I gotta refresh my, but what it should have done, I'm gonna end the editing right now.
Okay,
Finished editing.
But what-
PayPal. Entry.
All right, let me,
Dog. Mail. Ready mail. Phone. Page 10 of 10. Page 4 of 10. Page 2 of 10. Radio.net.
radio.net.
Mona. Spring. Clear note. Radio.net.
Radio.net,
Edit mode.
edit,
Started editing.
started editing.
Dog. Mail. Is phone. Page 2 of 11.
Let's go to the end.
Adjustable. Page 3 of page 4 of page 8 of page 9 of 11. Page 10 of 11. Entry. Page 10 of 11. Entry is editing. Stop editing apps. Delete. Drag entry. Activate. Default.
I'm not gonna waste time. I can't believe I've done this a bazillion times, and it's.
it's okay,
what
John.
I-
I'm gonna look into that. Yeah.
I'll look
Yeah,
into
when
it.
you- when
I'll
you
look
go
into
through
it,
that-
we'll get it right. There should be a drop radio net after Angie.
Okay,
Is
Or
what should happen.
before. Yeah, it'll say
Or
drop.
before, yeah, that's what it should be. I wonder if there was a recent update that hosed this. I hope not, but
I'm gonna look for that because I think that's so much easier than the way I've been doing it for years. So I've been
frankly,
wrong.
I think it might be, especially if you want to go if you want to go from screen to screen, it definitely is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
right.
I found out about that through Facebook because I'm on a Facebook group called iPhone and iPad group. And
Uh-huh.
that's where I found that. So, oh, that's an easier
Very
way to
good,
do it.
Michelle.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, John, Michelle. I
Started-
learned something tonight.
Started editing. Oh, I know what I did. Okay, I swiped up with one finger to started editing. Now I'm still on radio app. What I have to do is put it into a drag session, not to be confused with people cross-dressing or whatever. There's a component I forgot, and let me show you what it is, because now
Oh my
this-
God.
we preserve the continuity here. I swiped up and now I'm in edit mode, but I'm focused on radio net. So here we go.
Activate. Default. Edit mode. Activate. Default.
Well,
Edit mode. Started editing. Activate. Drag radio. Delete. Drag radio.net.
dragradio.net. Didn't say before, after, anything else. It said drag radio net. I'm gonna
Okay.
double tap on it.
Is editing. Dog.
Now it said the next tab, Dice World was editing. Go to the page 2 of 11,
Uh-huh.
swipe up with your finger to get to 10.
Page 3 of page 4, page 5, page 6, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11 of 11, page 11. Entry.
Okay,
Actions available.
now it says page, it says Angie, which is the last thing I have on my phone, is editing. And before we were, it was tampering, but what we already have radio net in a drag session. So
Okay.
now let's sweep up. Cancel drag, no. Create new folder, no, please, dear God, no.
Drop radio.net after entry.
Drop radio net after Angie,
Oh, wow.
add to drag session,
Stop editing apps.
stop editing.
Cancel track. Create new folder. Drop radio.net after entry. Drop radio.net before entry. Drop radio.
So it says drop, and be very careful, because sometimes I've tried to drag it before and after, and what does it wind up doing? Create new folder. I have created folders I never intended to create. There's
Oh,
drag,
no.
drag, I'm going to simply cancel out,
Finished editing.
finished editing.
Entry.
That's very interesting. Wow.
Yeah, what I
But
liked is
That's a
that,
much easier,
Yeah.
when it works, and it usually does, but sometimes go up and down through that list several times, because if you do it the first time, it'll activate the one before or the one proximate to it, but not the one you want.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna start doing it that way. That's way better. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised when I saw it do it your way. I said, I haven't done it like that since 2020.
Now be
Oh.
nice.
All right, Manny knows I'm just ragging on him.
I know. No, but thank you, John. I appreciate that, though. I really do.
I'm glad I was the one stop. The thing what you have to do is you start editing, and then the
Mhm.
app that has focus, you sweep up again to add to a drag session.
Okay.
That's the component I had forgotten. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you'll just go someplace else and sweep up an icon, and it'll operate on that icon. What it does with the initial icon that you flagged for editing, I don't know.
Okay, wow.
Add to drag session, that's the critical part.
Mhm.
You can-
I'm definitely
throw-
gonna play with that after the class. I'm gonna work
Okay.
on that, just
If
learning.
you want
the
more
skill.
information, you have my email contact and you have my phone number.
Yeah.
At least I think I do, you should.
Very cool. Thank you again. Thank you, John, Michelle. That was
Yeah.
really cool. Appreciate that. So the next app, if there's no questions about this, the next app I have is called Fridge Buddy. And you're probably wondering, why do I want to be buddies with a fridge? But that's not
Dear
what it's
friend,
about.
that's where your food is. Oh.
8 to 9 p.m.
So what Fridge Buddy does, now I haven't tried all of its features yet because I just put it on a few days ago and I've had, woe is me, my computer issues and everything, and I haven't really given it the full kick of the tires. But what I have done one thing. So let me explain what it does, and I'll tell you the thing that I got it to do, and then maybe in another class I will show more. Okay. So what it does, it allows you to point it at your refrigerator, open the refrigerator doors, point it into where your stuff is, and then it gives you an inventory of the stuff in your refrigerator. And it also suggests, I think it even suggests expiration dates for stuff in there. So I haven't done that part yet. But what I have done is I've had it scan receipts and do the same thing. It reads the receipts, it extracts the food and puts it into a list for you. So, you know, have you ever seen those Walmart receipts where you see all this cryptic stuff for the description? You're wondering, it says 6PKHZ072, whatever. Well, for somehow it knows how to decipher all that gobbledygook into real words.
Ooh, I needed that for the other day.
So what I was gonna demonstrate today with it is I was just gonna take a receipt from Walmart, just I have it right here, and I was going to have it do its thing on the receipt and see what it comes up with. Now in my test it worked, but I'm a little nervous because my luck thus far tonight has not been the greatest. So let's see what happens. So let me get this cup out of the way. Put that over here. Where are you, Mr. Receipt? You better be here. Where did you go? Where did my receipt go? Hang on a second. I think I dropped it. Hang on. Give me a second.
The other thing that's nice about this app is that you can put it in a cabinet and let the light open the cabinet and point it at a shelf, and it will tell you what's on your shelf as much as it can see, which is
What?
kind of neat. Kind of neat what it does, and it's very precise. I was amazed when we aimed it at the refrigerator and how much it identified correctly. I was like, wow.
I think what I'm so excited if it reads expiration dates. It's like, whew.
Well, no, it estimates what your date would be. It doesn't read it. It estimates what a normal milk would be, and so it doesn't. But it's kind of neat.
Yeah, but it's interesting. What assumptions is it making that you just bought that milk or that milk's been in the fridge a week already? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it.
The algorithm.
I just don't.
I wouldn't depend on it too much.
I mean, we just took one picture in the refrigerator, so I haven't had enough time to play with it.
I get it.
And then she took a picture of what was in the cabinet, and the one can it didn't know, it said can of unknown.
8:33 p.m.
But,
Free can.
Oh shoot, it just blew away. I got my fan on, it keeps blowing my, I'm so unorganized. Hang on a second. Just blew it away again. Hang on. You know, you need to turn the fan down first.
But did it blow away?
All right. Okay, got a receipt. There it is in my hand. All right, let me see here. Let me change the lighting back.
but what's nice about it, it's a free app.
Yeah, it's a free app. So I think the most effective way, I haven't done the refrigerator or cabinet thing yet, but if it can read what you just bought, then I guess it can kind of figure things out that way. And I don't know how it does it. That was a good question, John. I'm still kind of researching the app, but
Yeah, I
if you
get it.
guys get it, you can figure it out for me too. You can help me out here. Let's see. Let me see. So I got a Walmart receipt. Here's what it looks like. I'm gonna put it down. Regular square receipt. It's got a few items on it. Not a long receipt because we've here all night. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up Fridge Buddy and see what happens here.
8:34 p.m.
Hey Siri. Open Fridge Buddy.
Dismiss. Hey there. Fridge Buddy cares about your privacy and data security.
No, you don't.
I'll decide later. Decide now, but I'll decide later.
Okay.
Fridge Buddy.
All right. So what we got to do is find the little control. I don't remember where it's at here.
Button. Search. Add a new item. But all. In counter. Fridge. In freezer. Your list is looking pretty empty. Tap the app.
So there's no list. There's no list right now. So
Add.
like you can go to add,
Add.
little add floating add button on the lower right.
Diagram. Screenshot. Sign.
Now we got to find the one that's the receipt guy. So let me go down here.
Diagram. Diagram. Fridge button. Add a new item. All. Counter. Fridge. Freezer. Your list is looking pretty. Clock. Button. Home. Lists. Account. Button. Manually add item.
So we're not going to manually do it.
Button. Scan receipt from gallery.
Scan receipt from gallery.
Scan receipt with camera.
So we're going to scan receipt with camera. Let's see what the other option is just for fun.
Button. Clock.
That's it.
Clock button. Scan receipt with camera.
So I'm going to do that. Scan receipt with camera. I'm going to press that button and then see what color comes out here. So I'm going to do that.
Take picture. 0 people.
So, and then you have to frame it though. You have to frame it so it takes some vision, and then it doesn't give you any audio clues when you do that. Then I take picture,
Take picture.
and then there's a choose or select button right next to the shutter button.
Use photo.
We're going to
Button.
use this photo.
Use processing receipt. Ellipsis. Back.
So now if I go to the top of the receipt, here's what it says.
Store. Optional.
Oops,
Text
wait a
field.
minute.
Add receipt. Save. Store. Optional. Costco. Text field. Is edit. Purchase date. August 15. To Belgian chocolate. OL geek negative 0 Ishwashwat. Delete item. Brandy. 8950 I00 S 0001. Delete item. Brownie mix. NIEHS. Delete item. Avocado.
So what it did, it went through and it identified all the items on the receipt, and it didn't give you all that gobbledygook. And I guess you can include it in the list. And I don't know what it does from there, but it's really good at identifying things. And if it can do that, I'm sure it can inventory a refrigerator for everything it sees. I imagine if you have a bottle behind another bottle, it's not going to see that. No way it can see through. If you can't see it, it's not going to see it. So there might be limitations to what it can actually inventory in a refrigerator or in a cabinet situation. So it is a nice handy tool though. It does save you a little time. And if you arrange items in a certain way, I'm sure you can get most of them, if not all of them. But it read the receipt pretty good. I guess that's what's on there. I never looked at it. So I guess that's pretty much it. And I think the receipt was upside down actually. So I turned it right side up. So it looks like it doesn't matter about the orientation of the receipt. So any questions on Fridge Buddy?
Not on Fridge Buddy, but do you know of any other apps that you could use something similar to that, to if you were to like shop at Walmart or Target or Kohl's or Big Lots?
Yeah.
Those and just random items and stuff like that.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Or just
but-
like for receipts, because I know sometimes I have to return things and I can't see the receipt. So I use Sting AI, of course, but
Right.
sometimes it doesn't really tell the items that it's on there.
Well, Michelle, I
Screened
think
in.
if this can do this with a receipt, I'm sure there's other apps that can do something more geared towards what you're looking for. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are a lot of receipt readers out there, and maybe even, you know, I don't know, let's say like Big Lots, maybe they have an app themselves. I mean, I don't know if there's a universal app that reads all receipts. That's a good question. It's maybe something that I
Yeah,
should.
Big Lots
research.
has an app.
What's that?
Big Lots has an app.
Oh,
or a
okay.
shopping app.
Oh.
Yeah, they have an app, but I'm just wondering if, let's say, like how he did that, taking a picture of the receipt and it reads you every item that you purchase.
Right.
Mhm.
This is
Good one.
one way of doing it, but I believe, I know what you're saying, Michelle. You want something that's really just for that and gives you the exact thing that you bought and price and everything. That I'll look for something like that and see if I can bring it up in another class.
Okay, yeah, that's right now. I'm using
We
kids.
use SuperSense, which is another program like
Mm.
Seeing AI. And
All this
I
raises
had a
the question.
receipt from Walmart and we put it on documents and it read it beautifully.
Yeah, she's right about that. I'm sorry, John, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It raises the question of, is there a Big Lots in Tucson?
Yes,
Yes, there is.
Wow,
We
okay.
have one right at our corner.
How cool
Yeah,
is that?
take a
Well,
bird-
we
take a
know where
birdie.
you are. Okay.
South
Didn't know there
Lincoln
was-
Harrison.
Huh, really?
Wow.
Yeah,
They
there's
had
one
Cap-
in Sabino too.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to check into, Michelle, because that'd be handy for us. You know, you buy a lot of things at Walmart one day, you get a long receipt, you want to see if you got something in a return on there. I mean, that's a big job for a non-sighted person to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I use my kids now since they're 18 and 15.
And that's the other way to do it. Instead of an app, just make a kid and then let them grow up.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get an app. instead.
We need an app for it though, because
Yeah.
they're getting older and they won't be here for much longer.
Oh, man. All right, well, if there's no more questions on that, let me see what's next on my little list here. Boom, boom, boom. What is that? What's next? Hold on. My mouse moved, so I'm kind of lost. Okay, here we go. Oh, speaking of SuperSense, I'm supposed to review SuperSense with you guys today. Now, SuperSense is an app a lot like Seeing AI, except you pay for that one. You can pay a lifetime subscription, yearly and monthly and all that good stuff. And the price goes up per month on the shorter terms. The good thing about SuperSense that I do like is that it gives you a lot of audio feedback. So when you're looking at a receipt, let's say, and you put it on document, it's always telling you, just like Seeing AI does, you know, moving it. Well, it actually, Seeing AI says top right not visible or left corner not visible. But this one says, SuperSense, it says move up, move away from you 1 inch, or move towards you 1 inch, move to the left 1 inch, right 1 inch, move up, you know, away from it 1 inch. It gives you like a little bit better guidance.
And it
then
makes noise too.
and it makes like a bass sounds, like doom, doom, doom. You know, I can't make the sounds, but it makes like these bass kind of sounds. And when it's processing it, it does a different kind of little riff with bass to let you know that it's actually doing something. So it's kind of cool in that respect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to recognize two things. I'm going to use the product mode or the barcode mode, and then I'm going to see if I can read that receipt, see what we get out of that. So let's keep our fingers crossed, see what happens. So I got a can of something over here. I hope it didn't blow off too. Oh, here it is. I think it's tomatoes or something like that. I don't know, but I'm going
Must
to.
be a surprise.
What's that?
I said it's supposed to be a surprise.
I don't know. I think it is. It's a big can. I don't have an extensive thing over there. So let's see. All right, I'm going
Fridge
to
body.
close
Store.
fridge body.
Fridge closing fridge body.
Hey Siri. Open SuperSense.
SuperSense. Document mode on.
So I'm in document mode. So the first thing I got to do is switch it
Rotate to
over.
1 clock position.
I
Rotate to 1 clock position.
hang on.
Explore
Let's
button.
stop that.
Stop. But start.
Okay. Sometimes it gets too chatty. So I stopped the recognition process and it was doing little bass lines, but you couldn't hear that over my voice. So the first thing you do is the bottom right of the screen, you got to select the mode or the feature or whatever it's called.
Select feature.
Feature.
Document reader is smart scan. Premium feature.
So right now it's on Smart Scan.
Automatically detects whether.
And I want to go find barcode or whatever it's called.
Quick read. Document read. Multi-page read. Currency. Premium barcode.
Barcode.
Premium
There it
feature.
is.
So I'm gonna double tap
Scan
on that. It's
barcodes
like
to hear the name of the product.
it's like a pop-up menu. So I'm gonna double tap on that.
Stop button. Stops
How
the
about you can-
scanning process.
All right, I'm gonna put the can in my hand here. And I'm just gonna rotate it. So I put it in front.
I hear it.
It's giving me like little dots telling me that it's seeing something, but it's not recognizing it yet. So I'm turning the can. There it goes.
Got it.
Text field is editing. Enter a name for this product. Word cancel button. Menu.
So I don't know what didn't do it right, I guess. Let me see. Let's put it back over there again.
Six pack. Hunt's diced tomatoes with roasted garlic.
There it is.
14
There we go.
ounces.
I must have, what happens sometimes I get my finger in the way and it gets, part of the barcode gets messed up. So-
Yeah, and then it should have details on it.
Okay,
also.
and she's right. I'm gonna swipe to the right and I'm gonna go look for the details button. So it tells me more about this item.
Explore button. Six pack. Hunt's diced tomatoes with roasted garlic. 14.5
Oh, that sounds
ounces.
good. I'm getting hungry. Okay.
Six
Yeah.
pack. Show details.
Show
Button.
details.
Description. Hunt beginning of the document. Hunt's diced tomatoes with roasted garlic are made with non-GMO ingredients, cut from firm, peeled tomatoes, and canned in their own juice. Gently roasted over an open fire. Hunt's fire roasted diced tomatoes with garlic will bring a perfect smoky, southwestern avor with a deep, rich layer of roasted garlic to all your favorite recipes. Each Hunt's tomato is peeled back.
Okay, so you get the idea.
Wow.
It tells you a lot of that.
Yeah.
Additional options.
So, and I think that whenever you
Stop. But start.
are trying to recognize any kind of items that have a universal product code label, like food items, cans, whatever, taco seasoning packets, whatever it is, this is by far the best way to recognize what it is. And it's called barcode here. It's called product and seeing AI. And they do the exact same thing. In seeing AI, you have a more details button, which should give you the same thing because they're probably tapping the same databases. All right, so you guys remember that receipt that I had from before. I'm going to put it down and let's see what it reads.
Well, you
Let's
gotta get
see.
it off the barcode.
Yeah, I got to do that too. So I'm going to put it in front of me.
You
And
gotta
then
stop it scanning.
Right, I stopped the scanning already, so it wouldn't keep talking. Now I'm going to change the feature over to document. So we'll do that.
Select feature. Product mode is active. Button. Barcode. Premium. Smart scan. Quick read. Document read. Premium feature.
So what you want to do
Reads
before
longer documents with advanced features.
before I switch it to
Hold down At
document,
least 1 foot.
before I switch it to document, I want to put my phone on top of it because I don't want it to snap a picture while it's way up here and I haven't framed it yet. So I put the middle of the phone where the camera is right as far close to the middle of the receipt as I can. And then I raise it up slowly. And then SuperSense will guide me. It'll say, raise it another inch, move it left, right, away or closer to you, another inch or two. And you're going to hear that when I enable this feature. So let me do that now.
Document read. Stop button. Stops the scanning process. Move 1 inch toward yourself. Processing.
It plays a bass line.
Beginning of the document. Walmart. End of the page.
So it didn't catch everything. It did before when I did it. So I have to do it again because sometimes it doesn't always catch it properly. Sometimes the edge detection isn't working properly, so I have to try it again.
Back. Button. Back. Menu. Button. Move 1 inch toward yourself. Move further away from the document. Processing. Beginning of the document. Surveywalmart.com. Thank you. ID 7SK6K130166F Walmart 520-329-6870 MGR. David 8640 E Broadway Boulevard, Tucson. AZ 85710 ST03143 OP0005490 02 TR05470 Cherry Code 004900007230F. Bud Light. 008200000106
Did I buy that?
different at 004200035230 Katie King. 001070.
But you get it, right? You get what it's doing.
It's pretty good.
So it read what it could see.
Hold closer to the document.
And so, oops, let me stop it.
Stop. Start.
Okay, so in perfect lighting and a perfectly flat receipt, you'll probably get better results. This one was crumbled up and I've been trying to straighten it for hours. So it's probably got creases that are throwing it off. But if you have a better receipt than this, it'll probably read it even better than this one. But it was pretty discernible, I thought, when it was reading it.
Yeah.
So, again, this is an app that will cost you money if you can do it lifetime, yearly, or monthly. And I think if you go like monthly just to try it out, you could get it for like, I believe it's like $5 a month. And then, of course, if you don't want it anymore, you just cancel the subscription and you're done. If you buy a whole year, you commit for a whole year, it'll cost you less per month. And of course, lifetime is one charge. And I don't know how much that is anymore. But yeah, if you find it really useful, you just find that the tier that you like and what you're willing to spend and give it a shot, And Seeing AI works very similarly, but I think this one is just a little bit better because it helps guide you with sound. And I think that's so important. So let me.
But what I like to do is put the can right on my knee and turn it around with the iPhone right on it, and it finds it really quickly.
Yeah, that's
And
right. And
just about the right height. It's just about a foot above my knee, my
Yeah.
leg. Yeah.
what Barbara does is very important because Barbara really can't see. She sees less than me, and she's able to line things up pretty good now. And she had a hard time in the beginning, but she's learning these methods like putting it in her lap and rotating it in her lap and keeping her fingers out of the way and having the phone about a foot away, pointed right at it. She usually hits it just about every single time. And it doesn't get hard if you practice it. And that's the secret. You got to practice being a camera person to get this right. So any questions on SuperSense or anything like that?
With that SuperSense, I know with Seeing AI, like if I were to get a cake mix and I don't know, does it give you instructions on how to bake the cake? Like how many eggs, oil, water?
It will give you the same detail that Seeing AI gives you because they tap the same databases.
Okay.
Universal product code labels are stored in a database, and these programs have access to it. So if you scan the same code and it finds the same thing, whatever details it has, it'll be reflected in both applications the same way. So,
okay.
Yeah, so good question. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to review with you real quick thing, because I think it's important. If you're having trouble with your iPhone and you need to use Uber, you don't have to use their app. You can call their number and they will charge you $5 to do this. But what they'll do is they'll set up a ride for you where you want to go and where you're getting picked up. And you will get text messages with the progress, with the driver's there. And then I think they collect your credit card at the time you call. And then it doesn't include a tip for the driver. It's just for the ride. And then you would choose to give the driver a tip if you choose so in cash. Anyway, that's how that
You
works.
have to do it in cash, Manny. That's the only way you can tip the driver, unfortunately.
That's what my understanding was. So if you have somebody, or if you don't like to have the Uber app on your phone, you can call into the number. And I don't have the number with me, but Barbara published it, and I'll put it in the notes in case you need that. Might be a
Yeah,
handy
it works
number.
nationwide now.
Yeah, I think they were trying it out in a few areas like Colorado, and I think there was another place. But anyway, I think it's nationwide. But the only problem is that it's the cost of the ride plus $5 and plus any cash tip you want to leave the driver. So and your notifications still come on your smartphone, but they come in the form of text messages. They're not in the app. You're not using the app. You're getting just text messages from Uber. So that's the way that works. I just wanted to let you guys know there's another way to use Uber besides their app. And it's nice to have that, actually, just in case. Okay, let me see what's next, unless anybody has questions. Let me see what we got here. Oh, so this is kind of a public service announcement for batteries. I read this and I thought I better pass it on to you guys. So do you guys all have like junk drawers where you stash a lot of stuff? I know I do. And you got to be careful with batteries. One battery on its own is probably not a problem. But anything that, like a couple of batteries touching each other, that could cause a potential fire, because even if batteries are spent, and especially if they're not, they contain a lot of electrical charge. The 9-volt batteries as well. And they could start a fire. And there's been fires that have been started in garages and in drawers because of that. So when you're storing batteries, you want to store them individually in something that covers up the terminals, the steel parts where the juice comes out, so to speak, the electricity. So in a 9-volt battery, you want to put it in something where nothing touches those two little circle things on top, the connector things on top. And in the case of AA, AAA, and whatnot, you want to store them like they come in the package. You want to have them all pointing the same way. And you want them not touching each other where the power is derived from the battery, meaning the negative and the positive poles of the battery. So that's something just to keep in mind. You know, you could throw a battery in there, and if you have steel wool in there, the battery could flame up because you're creating a circuit with steel wool, which is a conductor, and it could flame up. And it's happened in other houses. So if you have a junk drawer, look for batteries and either remove them or isolate them from everything so they don't cause you a problem. So that's a little public service announcement. So that's all I have for that. Any questions on batteries? All right, let me keep going then. What do we got here? Sure. Oh, so another little quickie thing. In accessibility, you have this setting where you can, well, there's a thing called shake to undo typing. And I don't know if anybody's ever used that. So what it is if you type or dictate something and you want to undo it character at a time, you can shake your phone instead of looking for where the cursor is and stuff. And it'll ask you, do you want to undo it? And you say, yeah or no. And you can use a physical shake of your phone. You shake it like you would, I don't know what you would shake. Anyway, it's a pretty rapid shake, and then you'll get a dialogue. It says undo typing, and you'll say yes or no. And that's kind of a handy little function. Now, if you need to turn that off, you'll go to accessibility, and you can turn shake to undo typing. You can turn that off. That way, if you mistakenly shake your phone, it won't try to undo something without your knowledge. Of course, you have to confirm it, so it's never going to do it. So that's called shake to undo typing. That's what that's called. Any questions on that? I'm going pretty fast. Okay. So another thing I wanted to talk about was mail drop. Has anybody ever heard of mail drop? All right. So it's very closely related to what's called airdrop. So let's say you take a picture we'll pick on Grayson and we'll pick on you guys. So let's say Michelle takes a picture of Grayson and she wants to send that picture to Grayson's phone. Well, you can airdrop it. You go to share and then you can airdrop it and it'll transfer it right over the air to the other phone. Okay. Mail drop works similarly. And Apple's the only one that does this. Google doesn't do it. No one else does this. Let's say you take a 30-minute video. So if you take a 30-minute video and you want to send it to somebody in another state, there's no way to do that right now. No way easily. Okay. Because the file's too big to email. And I'm sure we've all run into that where we try to send a big file and it tells us, nope, it couldn't go. So what Apple has had out there for a while is called Mail Drop, which allows you to send a big fat file up to 5 gigabytes, I believe, at a time. So let's say you have a 3 gigabyte video, which is big, okay? You would never be able to send that over mail to anybody because 25 megs is usually about as all they can send, all they'll allow you to send. So 25 megs compared to 3 gigs is like, less than a 10th or more or 100th. It's a real small amount. So to send that, if you send a big file, let's say a big file across the country to somebody else over mail, Apple will say, oh, this file's too big. We're going to send it using Mail Drop. And what it does, it takes the attachment, your big video attachment, and it allows you to send the mail, but it stores the attachment on Apple's servers. And then it gives the person receiving the email a link to that file so they could download it. So in essence, you can send them that file and they can download it from the server and it'll stay up there for like 30 days before Apple deletes it. So it's kind of a nice service. So you can send big files all over the place and Apple will host it for you while the person gets the big file through a download on their side. And that alleviates the limitations of size on attachments for emails. It's really nice.
But I take it puts it on their not Dropbox, the other thing, the iCloud. Is that where
iCloud? Yes, exactly, John.
Someday you and I should talk about iCloud. I mean, I have iCloud on my Windows box here, but I don't know anything about how to use it really.
You know what? And I think Mail Drop, John, I think it doesn't add to your iCloud storage. It's stored in a separate area just for that purpose. And I believe they'll let you put up to like a few terabytes of files up there. Of course, they come off after a certain time, but they're available to your recipient.
But the point is that what if you wanted to access them from your PC?
Right. So they'll send you a link in the mail. You'll click on that link and then it'll download it right there to your PC.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's kind of like
it's stored on iCloud, but you retrieve it from the link.
That's right, exactly.
And presumably, once you suck it down from the iCloud, they don't care. You're not keeping a copy like used to be with POP mail.
Right. So what they do is I think they leave it up there for a certain period of time. It's either 2 weeks or a month or something like that. But then they'll remove it, the file itself, from the iCloud storage, not your iCloud, but a general area where they keep these. And then it'll be gone. So it's a nice way to get a big file to your family when they're not close.
Yeah, it sure is.
So that's called Mail Drop. It's automatic with your iPhone. If you send something big, it'll just come up and it'll tell you that. And
well, actually, where would I find the app on? Are you saying it's automatically on your iPhone?
It's automatic. If you send somebody a big file, it'll come up and say sending using Mail Drop. And that means your recipient's going to get a link instead of a file. And then they'll just download from the link.
Manny, did you want to go over quickly how to close all the tabs?
Yes, I got that for John in this one, actually. So yeah, let's just do that. So John, remember last month when we were saying we were trying to figure out how to close all tabs?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to do that.
Send me an email about it.
Yeah, I'm going to just demonstrate it here.
Good.
Calendar.
I've forgotten already. I looked it up if I had to.
Closing super.
Yeah. So I'm going to open up Safari. Let me go. Let's see. Hey Siri. Open Safari.
Safari.
All right.
Toolbar.
So
share 0.
So in a
0
nutshell,
seconds of 6.
in Safari, you go down to the toolbar and all the way to the right. And I think it's called tabs. It's going to sound like this on the toolbar, by the way.
Toolbar.
back,
back,
button, forward,
forward,
share,
share,
show
show
bookmarks,
bookmark, and then they're gonna
button.
have tabs.
tabs, button,
So you go in there.
Harvey Weinstein scandal, a complete,
Yeah, I was reading about that earlier. So if you want to, I got a bunch of them on here. I think there's at least 4 or 5 at least. So if you want to delete all those tabs, it's not apparent how you do it. What you do is you double, if you go down to the done button, put focus on it like this.
done, button,
Then you double tap and hold and wait for the context menu to come up. So I'm going to do that now.
insider, business news and more,
Oops, I think I did it wrong. Hang on.
toolbar, tab, Harvey
Let's
Weinstein,
try that again.
done,
Done button. Now I'll try to double tap and hold that.
close all 9 tabs,
Close all 9 tabs. Oh, and I think the other option is
dismiss context menu,
dismiss.
close all 9 tabs.
So I got 9 tabs. I'm going to close them all. I'm going to just do that.
Alert, are you sure you want to close all open tabs? Close all 9 tabs,
You can do that or you can cancel.
cancel,
I'm gonna-
close
I'm
all
gonna
9
close them.
tabs. Google, button,
And then you're back to no tabs open whatsoever. So that's how you do it. Double tap and hold the done button, and that will allow you to close all tabs in one shot, especially if you have a lot of them.
and
So
that
that-
done button, it's way on the bottom to the right.
Bottom right, yes. So when you go to tabs and you click on it, you're going to see a lot of stuff on the top. You just need to go to the bottom, maybe just explore by touch from the bottom and find the done button. And then you just double tap and hold it once you get to the done button. And then that menu will come up and then you can just swipe to it and just double tap it and confirm. And it's all gone. It'll kill them all. So yeah, that's what I got. I don't know if I had one more thing to show, but I don't know. It's already 9 o'clock. I don't know if people are falling asleep or what. Are we ready, Barbara? What do you think?
Wow, you said show and tell, let's see it.
Well, it's another thing. It's just a real quick thing. It's called background sounds. So this is my last topic. So background sounds is really iPhone's kind of white noise generator. And what it does, set it the right volume and the right sound, you can use it to help you sleep. And of course, there are white sound noises, but there's also rain and ocean and things like that. So let me get to that to show you what it is. Okay, hang on. So, okay.
Doc,
Is this paid or free?
Oh, it's part of iOS. It's actually
Really?
baked into it. Hey Siri,
okay.
open settings.
Settings, sounds and
And
habits.
I forgot where it was at, so I'm just going to search for
Search
it.
field, search field, search field.
Background sounds.
Inserted background sound.
So background sounds. Oops.
Inserted so background sounds.
All right. Hang on.
Inserted, sorry.
Let's try that
Background.
again. Try that again. Okay.
Clear text.
Background sounds.
Inserted background sounds. Search results. Background sounds. Accessibility right arrow audio / visual.
So under accessibility, audio, video, you're going to have a thing called background sounds. So let's go to that.
Background sounds. Accessibility mono audio. Make the power on and off sounds. Play sound. Headphone note to protect your hearing. Balance. Left right stereo balance.
Where is it?
Headphone notifications. Headphone accommodations. Off. Background sounds.
There it is.
Off.
So after the headphone accommodations piece, you got a thing called background sounds. Now here's what it says about it, so you can hear it right from the horse's mouth here.
Place background sounds to mask unwanted environmental noise. These sounds can minimize distractions and help you to focus, calm, or rest.
Okay, so that's what it's designed to do. So if we go in there,
Background sounds. Background sounds. Off.
currently I have them off. Once I turn it on, it's going to start playing, and I'll try to stop it and turn it on as you can hear the different ones. So I'm going to turn it on.
Background
Oh,
sounds.
and by the way, to control these sounds, you have to go into your control center little applet things, control center, and add background sounds, the little thing to it. along with the other things that are in your control center, and then you can just turn them off and on that way quickly. Otherwise, you got to go into settings and turn them off and on. And I don't know if there's an automated thing yet, but you can probably do shortcuts to maybe do that. I don't know. I haven't gone that far into it, but let's just hear the sounds just for fun.
Background sounds on.
That's water. Can you guys hear that?
Sound. Screen. Balance noise.
So we got stream right now. I'm going to go to just white noise. Let's see.
Balance noise. Selected. Balance noise.
Sounds like static on a TV. Here's another one, a little brighter sounding noise.
Selected.
Uses a high pass filter, so it's a little higher. And this is the low pass filter for the lower, darker.
Selected. Dark noise.
Dark noise. And then ocean.
Ocean. Selected. Ocean.
Can't hear it.
Well, maybe it's not coming through okay, but here's rain. You can't hear that?
No.
I just turned off. So I would explore them on your own, and then you can play with those sounds, and you can turn them off and on, set them at certain volumes. There's a whole lot of controls for volume and everything else. And you want to put these in the background so they're real soothing and they relax you. I had them real loud, hoping that they would go through here. So they're kind of obnoxious sounding here, but they're designed to soothe and make you feel better. So, and that's all I had tonight. That's basically where what I had. So I don't know if there's anything else. If anybody's still awake out there.
Uh-oh, your doorbell.
What do you think, Barbara? Should we call it a day? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think we better call it a night.
Okay.
Oh, you did
John,
2
if you
hours.
want
I
to
mean,
end the recording.
Okay, I'll end the recording. Hang on.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Manny.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.